Here's what nobody tells you about the AI revolution. It's not coming for your job tomorrow. It already arrived yesterday, and it's been quietly dismantling the economic ladder your parents climbed. In 2024, America's four largest tech giants raked in nearly $268 billion. Amazon and Microsoft both crushing Wall Street's expectations. Meanwhile, those same companies showed their gratitude by pink-slipping hundreds of thousands of workers. Not underperformers, not redundancies from mergers. People whose jobs simply became more profitable when done by algorithms. The math is brutal and simple. Microsoft posted stellar quarterly numbers, then announced 6,000 layoffs in the same breath. Meta followed suit, cutting 3,600 positions, roughly 5% of its global workforce, in February 2025. These aren't struggling companies desperately slashing costs. They're profit machines discovering they can extract even more value with fewer human beings in the equation. We were sold a story about AI. Productivity gains, efficiency breakthroughs, innovation unleashed. All true. What got left out of the brochure was the fine print about who actually benefits when machines start doing the thinking. A 2024 McKinsey report dropped a bomb that most people missed. Between 15% and 30% of working hours in white-collar jobs could be automated by 2030. Those aren't speculative numbers. They're conservative estimates based on technology that already exists. The digital revolution has created stupendous wealth, just not for the people building it. Tech executives and shareholders are bathing in champagne while the middle-class workers who once powered these companies are being shown the exit. This isn't creative destruction. It's an orchestra pit where the musicians have been replaced by a single DJ. Economists have a clinical term for what's disappearing: middle-skilled jobs. Translation? The careers that once defined the American middle class, the accountant tracking numbers, the paralegal researching cases, the junior analyst crunching data, are being vaporized. Not outsourced to cheaper labor markets, not downsized during recessions. Simply erased. Everyone saw blue-collar manufacturing jobs vanishing to automation. Assembly line workers replaced by robotic arms. That story is old news, practically ancient history at this point. What's happening now is quieter and more insidious. AI is storming the castle of white-collar professions that were supposed to be automation-proof. Law firms are deploying AI to draft contracts and analyze case precedents. Newsrooms are using algorithms to generate financial reports and sports recaps. Corporations are swapping customer service representatives for chatbots that never need coffee breaks or benefits packages. A 2024 McKinsey report dropped a bomb. Between 15% and 30% of working hours in white-collar jobs could be automated by 2030. Those aren't speculative numbers. They're conservative estimates based on technology that already exists. Let's talk specifics. Accounting used to be a golden ticket to middle-class stability. Steady income, clear advancement path, respected profession. Now AI platforms are processing financial data, conducting audits, and flagging anomalies faster than any human team. The Big Four accounting firms aren't hiring armies of junior accountants anymore. They're hiring software engineers to build better automation tools. Journalism? The Associated Press has been auto-generating articles for years. What started with simple earnings reports and sports scores is creeping into more complex storytelling. Media companies are realizing they can produce more content with smaller staffs. Education is getting the same treatment. Khan Academy and AI-powered tutoring platforms are replacing the individualized attention teachers once provided. Not completely, not yet, but enough that teaching positions are shrinking even as student populations grow. Even programming, the career everyone said was recession-proof, is eating itself. GitHub Copilot and similar tools are generating functional code from simple prompts. Junior developers who once spent years learning the craft by writing basic functions are discovering their entry point no longer exists. The ladder starts higher now, and most people can't reach the first rung. Here's what gets lost in discussions about job displacement. AI isn't just automating tasks. It's obliterating entire career trajectories. The traditional path looked like this. Start as an assistant, learn the ropes, demonstrate competence, get promoted to associate, eventually make senior status. Each step built skills and institutional knowledge. You climbed slowly but steadily, and if you worked hard and didn't screw up catastrophically, you eventually reached comfortable middle-class prosperity. That architecture is collapsing. When AI handles the entry-level work, there's nowhere for newcomers to start. When algorithms take over mid-level analysis, there's no progression from junior to senior roles. The career ladder hasn't just gotten harder to climb. Entire rungs have been removed. Legal services provide a medical examiner's report on this phenomenon. Paralegals and legal assistants used to spend years learning how to research case law, draft motions, and prepare discovery documents. Those skills had value because they took time to develop and experience to master. Now platforms can perform the same research in seconds, draft contracts based on templates and precedents, and flag potential issues with frightening accuracy. Finance tells the same story. Junior analysts who once built careers by creating market reports and tracking trends are being replaced by algorithms that scan millions of data points in real time. Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley have openly discussed using AI to handle client-facing work that used to require teams of associates. Graphic design is undergoing its own crisis. Generative AI tools can now produce professional-quality images, logos, and layouts from text prompts. Someone without any design training can create material that would have required hiring a skilled designer just 2 years ago. The demand for entry-level design work is cratering. While middle-class jobs vanish, wealth flows upward with gravitational force. The tech companies controlling AI platforms, the ones with proprietary algorithms, massive datasets, and computing infrastructure, are accumulating market value at astronomical rates. Here's a number that should terrify you. Between 1979 and 2022, U.S. labor productivity grew 64.6%. Worker wages? They crawled up 17.3%. AI is turbocharging this disconnect. Companies extract more value, generate more output, serve more customers, all with fewer employees on the payroll. Capital wins, labor loses. The returns from economic growth are being vacuumed up by those who own the technology rather than those who work alongside it. The wealth concentration tells a darker story. The Federal Reserve data reads like a dystopian novel. The wealthiest 10% of Americans now controls 70% of the nation's wealth. Meanwhile, the middle class, households earning between 2/3 and double the median income, held 62% of U.S. wealth in 1980. By 2023, that share had plummeted to 43%. In just over 4 decades, the middle class lost nearly 1/3 of its economic foothold. This isn't just an economic shift, it's a social earthquake. A hollowed-out middle class means fewer people can afford homes, fund their children's education, or participate meaningfully in civic life. The social contract that built American prosperity, work hard, play by the rules, earn a decent living, is being rewritten in real time. Democracy itself suffers when economic opportunity shrinks. Political power follows money, and when wealth concentrates at the top, so does influence. Communities built on middle-class stability begin to fracture. The institutions that bound society together, schools, local businesses, civic organizations, weaken when the people who sustained them can no longer afford to. Tech companies are racing to integrate AI into every corner of their operations. The enthusiasm is palpable, the investment staggering. What's missing from the conversation is any serious reckoning with the consequences. Ask a CEO about AI implementation, and you'll hear about efficiency gains, competitive advantages, shareholder value. Ask about the workers being displaced, and you'll get hand-waving about reskilling and new opportunities in the AI economy. But here's what reskilling actually means. A 45-year-old accountant losing their job is supposed to somehow transform into a machine learning engineer. A journalist whose position was eliminated should magically become a prompt engineer. The paralegal replaced by legal tech should, what, exactly? Learn to code? Become a data scientist? These aren't realistic solutions. They're fantasies that let companies avoid responsibility for the upheaval they're causing. The 2023 tech sector layoffs tell the real story. Over 260,000 workers cut loose, with AI efficiency cited as a primary justification. These weren't struggling companies fighting for survival. They were profitable enterprises discovering that machines could do the work cheaper. We're standing at an inflection point. The trajectory is clear. More automation, fewer middle-class jobs, greater wealth concentration. Without intervention, America is headed toward a two-tier economy. A small class of highly educated tech workers and investors at the top, and a massive pool of precarious service workers at the bottom. The middle ground is washing away like a sandcastle at high tide. This isn't inevitable. Policy choices matter. How we regulate AI deployment, structure labor protections, tax corporate profits, invest in education, and support displaced workers will determine whether AI becomes a tool for shared prosperity or a weapon of economic segregation. Right now, we're choosing the latter by default, not through explicit decisions, but through inaction and deference to market forces that have no interest in equitable outcomes. The question isn't whether AI will transform work. That's already happening. The question is whether we'll shape that transformation to benefit society broadly, or whether we'll let it concentrate power and wealth among a tiny elite while everyone else scrambles for scraps. Your job may not be on the chopping block today, but the career path you're counting on, the profession you've mastered, the expertise you've spent years developing, all of it exists in an economy that's being fundamentally restructured without your input or consent. The AI revolution is writing America's economic future. We just haven't figured out yet whether it's writing a story of shared prosperity or a cautionary tale about what happens when innovation races ahead of wisdom. The question isn't what you think about it, it's what you're going to do about it. At Market Media, your opinion matters to us. Has AI had an impact on your current organization? Share your story in the comments below.